Welcome back to Hey Kentucky. So many things going on in the world of politics right now, especially in Kentucky. That's why we are pleased to be joined today by Joe Sonka. He's a reporter with the Louisville Courier-Journal. And a pretty significant life event happened since the last time we talked to you. Congratulations on being a Pulitzer Prize winning journalist.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Were you shocked by that? Like, what was, I know we have other things to get into, but I just, like, you won a Pulitzer Prize.
It was pretty surprising. Still trying to wrap it around my head. Yeah.
All right, very cool. Well, let's get to the subject matter at hand. First of all, I want to talk about the Jefferson Davis statue being removed from the Capitol Rotunda and Andy Beshear being a part of it. Talk about what you think that means in the history of the Commonwealth here.
Well, it's been there for 84 years. It was put there in the Rotunda in 1936. The Daughters of the Confederacy convinced then Governor Happy Chandler to put it there, and it stood there for years through all of the Jim Crow era in Kentucky, and finally a governor and a board, a state commission came together and decided it was time for it to go. And there doesn't seem to be a lot of backlash among elected officials in Kentucky, especially in Frankfort. Of course, Beshear was for it. You see other Republican statewide office holders supporting the decision. So there were, efforts to remove it from the Capitol for many years, and they kept getting blocked. Governor Bevin was for removing it until he became governor, and then he was against removing it. But it's finally gone at long last.
Andy Beshear's 4 o'clock press briefings have been, focused on coronavirus for so long. Then they included the Black Lives Matter movement. Is there a thought amongst political leaders in the state that the virus is taking a back seat and that we will perhaps see a spike in it with restrictions being loosened?
Well, other states are starting to see an increase in cases. You look at states like Texas and North Carolina and Florida, really states that didn't really take as extreme measures that Kentucky did. Kentucky seems to be kind of at a plateau, or if not decline right now. There was a period of 2-week decline, then a 1-week increase, and then it's kind of gone down again since then. So I think that's part of Governor Beshear's thought process in doing a very phased-in reopening over several months, was that if you see a significant spike, you could scale that back. But until we see that spike back up, it looks like Beshear is going to keep rolling out reopening process as it goes forward. So it's something everyone's watching very closely, though.
Really quickly, we are very close to the primary election day. Today's the last day to get your ballot, your absentee ballot. Charles Booker has made some real strides and a real surge against Amy McGrath here in the last couple of weeks. How do you see this primary shaking out?
Well, I think he's definitely surging in the race right now. The question is whether there's enough time to really catch up to Amy McGrath, who had such a just huge money advantage. She's put many millions of dollars on the air. She has high name ID. That's something that Charles Booker and Mike Breuer couldn't really compete with early on until a couple of weeks ago, when Charles Booker really took a leadership role when it came to the police shooting of Breonna Taylor in Louisville and all of the protest movement, where he was there on the streets, speaking with people, leading marches, speaking to people, and a lot of people couldn't find Amy McGrath on the issue. So I think a lot of Democrats have started to move towards Charles Booker. The only question is whether it's too late. And the whole issue with voting and the pandemic right now, that also complicates the issue, because a lot of people have already received their absentee ballots and sent them in. I know one family member in Lexington actually got a absentee ballot early, voted for McGrath, turned it back in, and now she regrets her decision, which is she could vote for Charles Booker. So I don't know how many people are in that same kind of situation, but that's another factor that's kind of going against Charles Booker and being able to catch up to Amy McGrath.
All right, Joe, thank you so much for your insights. We appreciate it as always, and congrats again.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Joe Sonka with the Louisville Courier-Journal. More Hey Kentucky right after this.